All right, so we were up here in the pen working with some of the sheep and their hooves, banding a few of the lamb's tails, and we noticed that Creole, our new ram here, has something going on with his eye. Now, it's not surprising that some of these guys are starting to have eye problems because we've had sustained 30, 40 mile an hour winds for the last few days, and just like with humans, stuff can get in their eyes and it can cause problems. What we want to watch is to make sure this doesn't develop pink eye, and if it does, we don't want it to spread to the other rest of the herd. So we're gonna keep him up here. We're gonna quarantine him by himself. We're gonna treat that eye, watch it for the next couple days, and watch the others really carefully to make sure none of them get it as well. Whenever you treat an animal with pink eye, one thing you need to make sure is that you keep them separate from the other animals. It is highly contagious to both animals and humans. So the other thing is, whenever you are treating them, you want to make sure you stay away from both the eye and any excretions from that eye. It'll usually be pretty pussy. Make sure you stay away from that, or wear surgical gloves while you're treating the animal. So we always use this first. You spray it in the eye. If it happens to be something in there, like some dirt, some sand, something in their eye, this will help clear it out, and they will get rid of that irritation so they can start healing. To help get the infection down, because the infection is what causes the problem, we're gonna give them some LA200. For this guy, he's a pretty big animal, so we're gonna give him 2 cc's, wait a couple days and do that again, and hopefully we start seeing results. All right, so here we are 2 weeks later, and Creole is completely cleaned up. He has also been sheared since we shot the last video, but he's the one that had pink eye, or conjunctivitis is actually what it's called. It's a really long scientific name, but conjunctivitis is pretty much what it's talking about. It's whenever they get something in their eye, and it gets infected with a bacteria. The bacteria that can cause it a lot of times during sheep, there's a couple different ones, but the main one that causes it is the chlamydia virus, which is obviously a bad word, something that you don't want to mess with. So anytime you're messing with an animal that has pink eye, treat it like that's what it is, and you're going to want to use gloves, things like that. Another thing I wanted to show you guys though is this right here, which is called wool break. Anytime an animal or a sheep suffers a virus or an illness, this is one way that their bodies start shedding some of the wool, usually when they run a fever. So some people do not treat pink eye. They just let it run its course. It's gonna start kind of like a human. It's gonna get red. You'll have red, itchy eyes. You'll see them, you know, with some tears, a lot of wetness under their eyes. But then it eventually turns into like a blue, cloudy eye in one or both of their eyes, which leads to temporary blindness. And in severe cases, it can lead to permanent blindness. So anything that can hit an animal and cause them enough distress to make them stop growing their wool is something that I believe should be treated. I know sometimes people leave pink eye untreated. The problem is, number one, it's highly contagious and it will spread throughout your entire herd or your entire flock. We dealt with that last year. By the time we realized what was happening, our entire herd had it. It went through the entire herd and it was a bad deal. We did not have any suffer permanent blindness, but that's because we treated them quickly and efficiently. So the first thing that we use is this. It's called pink eye spray. A lot of times there's something in their eye. There's a dust particle or something like that that gets in their eye that contains the bacteria that causes the pink eye. So you want to get that out. You just spray this in their eye, flush their eye out, and that'll get whatever's in there, irritating it, out as quickly as possible. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to give them LA200 or liquamycin. It is an antibiotic. So what we usually do is just 1 to 2 doses of antibiotic a couple days apart. That really kicks their system in. It is a pretty strong antibiotic, but with an animal like a sheep, which is a large animal, they can handle it and it'll get that out of their system quickly and hopefully prevent any of that blindness that we talked about. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to give them a shot of B vitamins just to boost their system. Whenever they have this conjunctivitis, pink eye, whatever you want to call it, they usually get a fever. They're usually in some distress, and sometimes whenever they have that temporary blindness, it becomes hard for them to find food and water. So the B vitamins give their system a boost so that they can recuperate on their own, help their natural immunity systems, their natural recovery systems. So that's something that we want to do right off the bat as soon as we figure it out. The number one key though is isolation. When you see an animal that you suspect might have symptoms of pink eye, isolate that animal, and just putting them on the other side of the fence is not enough, because if they can touch noses, they can still spread the virus. So get them as far away from your other animals as you can, and then start the treatment plan like we talked about. And in severe cases, always contact your local veterinarian. They will know best.